And with that being said, we're going to go. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our latest installment in our webinar series. Fun thing about this is we're rolling out a new one each week, looking at a different industry. And today's topic, we're going to focus on back to school, solutions for the next normal with returning students and staff, trying to look at what that's going to look like. A little bit about who's presenting. I'm Amanda Vogel. I've been with the Navitor team for 14 years and have been in the print and promo industry for the past 20 years. I'll be joined today by two of our top print experts, Mark Kroll and Sadie Whiting, and together we'll share some of our industry knowledge as well as product expertise with you all as well. So what we're going to look at today, we're going to focus on the education industry. We're going to talk a little bit about the challenges that the industry faces, and in turn offer up some product ideas and solutions that can help manage some of the changes that are being experienced. And we did a lot of research on this, especially with the education industry. There's so many unknowns right now. We ended the school year this last year with the distance learning for K through 12. It was a huge change for everybody. We're trying to really navigate what's to come. So we've made some predictions here, and we're hoping these are predictions that you can go back to your clients with too, to kind of get those conversations started. And we really uncovered three major priorities here. And with those priorities, priority number one is welcoming the students back, showcasing ways to pump up the morale and get that school spirit flowing again, just because they've been so removed. It's a great way to get that camaraderie again. And then we'll also be looking at how schools can give parents peace of mind by communicating their dedication towards protecting their children, and give peace of mind to the staff, especially since the K through 12 setting consists of a large number of individuals in the at-risk category. We see a lot of volunteers and grandparents even that are in classrooms helping. So it's important for them to feel comfortable when they're walking in too, to know that the schools are doing what they need to help reduce those cases as well. And then with the research that we did there, as far as welcoming the students back to, one of the things we took a look at is what's it going to look like next fall. Majority of states have reported that K through 12 will most likely return to the facilities in the fall, but there may be a need to potentially pivot just depending on any spikes in COVID cases. Whereas higher education may be more of a mix between in-person settings and e-learning sessions still, just because they're already geared for that. They're ready for that. So our products that we're going to talk about today most closely are going to align with the K through 12, but we'll have resources for higher education as we learn more about what that's going to look like. The second priority is really looking at safety processes. So showing traffic flow, indicators that spaces have been sanitized, social distancing reminders, things like that. And something that we want you guys to keep in mind as we're talking through this is think about programs outside of the traditional classroom too, like the nutritional programs that are being offered throughout the summer. They do it during holiday breaks too. Some schools even do it on the weekend. They do a backpack type program. So pay attention to that and kind of think about that so you're outside of the box. And also think about the needs for mental health and students with special needs too, because there's going to be a need for some additional communication there as well. And then priority three is really the overall improved communication. So the big thing there is just focusing on quick, at a glance, easy to digest messaging, and then easy to change out too as things need to be fluid. A really helpful tool that you guys could use there too is looking at the CDC website, because it's got a great amount of information and offers tools and prediction models that can kind of help you assess the needs in your area, since it's going to vary state by state. And then the other thing to think about too is that the schools might not recognize what next year will look like. So be prepared to provide them those ideas and options. And that's what this presentation is really put together for you to do, is to help you get ahead of that and start having those conversations with them early so they can go back and get some budget approvals and things like that for their messaging. And then the focus for the segments today, really looking at the K through 12 student readiness, welcoming those students back from distance learning, and then preparing the facilities, embracing the next normal as students and staff return to classrooms. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to my peer, Sadie Whiting, who's been a part of our team for the last 17 years. And she's going to walk us through some ideas on what outdoor communication could look like for this. Go ahead, Sadie.
Thanks, Amanda. Hi, everyone. So yeah, we're going to look first of all today at what can be done outside the doors before any of the students or the staff or the parents even walk into the building. So really what the goal, kind of like what Amanda had mentioned here, is wanting to have a warm welcome as people are walking in. This is all unknown territory. This is all brand new. So wanting to be able to create that reassurance that the school has invested in this, that they're, everything is safe, everything is sanitized, procedures are put in place. So as you can see here on your screen, there are a lot of different ways that that can be done. So anything from, the banners to the signage, the A-frames, all of that. So we're kind of going to just look a little bit closer into those. So the first thing we want to look at is the first impression. As the old saying goes, first impressions are everything. So as I mentioned, the reassurance is a huge factor. So I'm a parent of a K through 12 child. So for me, if I were to walk up to a school and see all of this, it would really help me to realize the school has put a lot of thought into this. They put a lot of planning into this, and they've invested into my child's safety. And this would help me really feel a lot more comfortable about going back to school. And so as you can see here, here's just some different ideas. One of those, of course, being the banners. Durable banners that can be used at the entrances are great for, just sharing a welcome message and just putting out that school spirit. As you can see here on this example, a mascot there is involved as well, kind of just bringing back that feeling of the happy school that we're all familiar with. And then also sale signs are very popular as you're coming into the entryways. And then, of course, the A-frames, the sandwich boards that convey a lot of messages. So again, it's not just about, putting out the school spirit, but also being an informational piece and reassurance for the parents and the adults that are involved and the staff as well. Moving on here, we'll look at some different visual alerts that you can use. Something that some people may not realize that Navitor can help with are actually the stencils that you see in the top right corner there, the example. So these are stencils that you can put on pavement for temporary or long-term needs. Some fun ways that these can be incorporated is you can put a mascot in there. They're really customizable. So it's a great option for something different that you can actually use it to, as far as a flow of traffic, just directing where you want the children to go or the students to go. And then also just bringing in, again, keeping everything warm and having that school spirit involved at the same time. And then also along those lines, window decals, of course, are huge. Just letting people know, come in here, exit here, again, reminders of social distancing and sanitizing and personal hygiene, things like that. That's all very important and a very easy product and very important as far as a function that it's going to spread that message. And also wall decals is, again, another great way to just specialize areas and put that information out there. So you can really have everywhere you look, you can have a message shared, and consistency is really a great thing too. You can have that brand and that consistency. Again, just reconfirming that everything has been thought out and planned, and it's just a great way to promote that message, keep things comfortable for people as they're feeling, everything is safe, and we're trying the best to keep things that way. And then also at the same time, performing a job with those items. So let's look quickly here at a case study. And this is one here that it's really a whole new world for a lot of these schools as far as the way that they've stepped up. And I know we're all proud of our local schools for the way this has been done since this all started. But we have, you're seeing the meal distribution being a big thing right now. I know back here locally, when the schools were having to close and students were having to go home, they were doing meal preparation and delivery or pickup for them while school was still in place. And then now that it's the summertime, you're still seeing that. Just a quick fact here, there are more than 56 million students enrolled in K through 12. And as you can see here, almost 50% of those qualify for these types of meals. And even in some areas, such as my own here, they were actually doing it for any student at all that needed it, that was enrolled in the school. So regardless of the qualifying aspect, they were actually doing it for all of the students. So this is a huge opportunity. And in this, part of this is they have to have a process down that keeps this efficient, keeps it safe, and yet is doing the job of getting these meals out to the kids, which is so important. And so as you can see here, products that might be needed that they could purchase from you would be takeout labels or bag seals, just to seal those bags and say that this has been prepared. You could do something fun like putting a school mascot on there, or just saying, love from your, and then the principal's name or the school name, and you can seal those bags and put that on there. Also, if there's special dietary needs or request forms, those can all be relayed. We have labels that can be written on for that. Also, A-frames and yard signs. If you're doing a pickup at the school, if they're doing that and they want to be able to direct the parents for where to go, those are a great item to do that and to really get that instruction out there without the contact of having to have person-to-person instructions. They can do that. Some actions here, as you see on the screen, is start attending district meetings and reading your local news and looking also in the CDC guidelines. There's a lot of things out there and every area is different. So it's not a one size fits all by any means, as we all know. So as decisions are being made, it's great to stay on top of that and know what your customers are going to be up against, what they'll be facing, and the different things they'll be putting in place. But this is just a great example, as you can see here, kind of looking at those products we had talked about. Typically, depending on the size of the school, you might see a spend of $500 to $2,000 a month, depending on the school and the number of students that they're going to be using this for. Lastly, I will look here at student readiness. So this is a great, some different ideas here. Again, it's all about that whole communication piece and reassurance that things have been thought out and well planned. So one of those is welcome folders, looking at folders that are going to share how things are going to look in the new school year, what the new policies are going to be, as it says there, immunization forms or any other release documents, things like that that you need to communicate and give out to the students. It would be a great way to do that in a welcome folder. Another thing is orientation material. Again, just sharing that welcome back message, but also at the same time, you know, instructions can be put on the back of those or whatever the case is there. And lastly, as we transition into the buildings, communication products. So as you can see there, putting them on seats to try and keep the social distancing, table tents, decals, anything like that to direct traffic are going to be available. Again, just transitioning into the building, there's just all these, so many great ideas that you can use. So just wanted to share those with you. At this point, before we move on, is just a reminder, if you do have any questions as we're going through, I know this is a lot of great information packed into a small amount of time. So if you have questions, use the chat function on the right side of your screen there. Feel free to post a question there, and then we'll be able to address those towards the end. At this point, I'm going to hand this off to Mark Kroll. He's an expert with us that has been in the industry for 14 years, and he has some great ideas as we transition into the building. Mark?
All right. Thank you very much, Sadie. Good morning, everyone. Again, so we kind of talked about some of the stuff that we want to see or we're hoping to see or we're predicting to see on the outside of the school. But once you get inside the doors, you know, we're expecting the schools to look a little bit different. Obviously, there's a lot of different pieces of communication, reminders, school spirit that we'll want to be, we're hoping that will be promoted within the schools. So again, as we see here, this is kind of just a representation of what the school hallway may look like. And again, a lot of the products that we can provide to assist with. Again, we have the welcome back students with banners. We have the door decals. We have the floor decals, which we'll get into a little bit. We have posters. You know, we have multiple different substrates that we can put the posters. We even have some now that are on a synthetic material, which can be wiped down and make sure that they are germ-free. You know, we have door hangers or modified door hangers. You know, they can be placed on lockers to ensure that they're either clean, or it could be a reminder to the students to take these steps when, you know, while at school, whether it's a reminder to wash their hands, you know, follow the directions, follow the guidance within the school, as well as magnets. You know, a lot of the schools have the metal lockers. So again, magnets make a great way, again, to promote that student pride or a reminder in that sense. So the first and probably one of the biggest products that we've seen an increase in is going to be around traffic flow. And we're seeing a lot of this in many different industries, but we should see this as well in the education world. Again, floor decals, you know, giving people the direction of where to go. Again, social distancing is going to be key. You know, if they're waiting in line, they're going to, you know, space them out. This will help kids of all ages with that reminder of where to be. Again, door wraps. Again, part of the school spirit. Again, but we can provide full door wraps, custom sizes as well, that you can either put on the doors or windows or however you want to apply them. And again, with soft signage, you know, we have the retractable banners that we've seen them use for like as dividers or as room dividers or other forms of soft signage that could be applied in there as well. Up next is going to be Inspire Spirit. We talked a little bit about that outside. as well as when you get in the school, again, you want the students and the faculty to feel safe, to feel welcome, spread that message that we're in this together. Again, things are going to be different, but again, ways that we can inspire that school spirit, again, with welcome back banners. We have different door wraps. We can do the Post-it notes. There could be postcards. There could be magnets. Again, there's a plethora of different products that we can offer to help spread that school spirit. And remember, with a lot of our products, it's a blank canvas, and we can put whatever messaging that you or your customers is requesting on them. Again, sanitization is probably one of the most important, right? We're going to have to make sure that the students and the faculty are clean, the lockers are clean, the halls are clean, the cafeteria is clean, the tables are clean. And we have a lot of different products to kind of to pass that message around. One can be posters. We have many different types of posters that we can post to send out as reminders. Again, a couple of them are washable. We have the door hangers for the lockers in classrooms, as well as safety seals, where you can put a repositionable sticker over the the door or the locker that says that this area has been cleaned. You can place it onto a a table in the cafeteria as a reminder that the table has been cleaned, or a reminder to make sure that they're washing their hands, keeping them hands to themselves, that all of that sort of a thing. And then up next, we would have like the facility readiness, just the overall school itself, your restrooms and your lockers. Again, we have repositionable decals we have permanent decals that can be used. Again, posters, flyers, all of that sort of product offering. Again, we also have some labels that can be used for the hand sanitizer stations, to kind of sign off the last time it was cleaned, as well as visitor passes that are disposable. Again, one-time use type products. And again, with the nurse's office, again, provide informative flyers, tools that are helpful tips, again, along the lines of brochures, rack cards, appointment cards, and that sort of a thing. And then one of the case studies that we've noticed, and I think, again, this kind of spreads across multiple different verticals, but again, when it comes to asset tags, a lot of people are working from home. Students, like we're talking about here, that we have 56 million K through 12 students, and many of them passed out some sort of an electronic device to their students. I know here in our city, my kids all have Chromebooks, or they have a tablet, and they're actually hanging on to them at this point throughout the summer, as long as we're going to be returning to our district. But again, one way that they had to do it is there was a lot of emails, there were forms we had to fill out, but really the one thing that they were missing is kind of these asset tags, right? So we can have a permanent label produced, and we can actually apply a barcode for you. You just give us what it needs to be, and we can change that font into a barcode. And again, apply the asset tags to whatever devices that they're handing out, whether it's to the faculty to be working from home or for the students themselves. And again, another thing that we kind of have fun along the student pride is we also make these tech decals, which, again, we can put whatever you want. You can have whatever shapes, whatever sizes that you want. And again, we can kind of make the keyboards a little bit fun, a little bit of reminders that are on the surface of the computer or the laptop itself. Again, just some different things that we've seen. And again, the average revenue, they probably need 2 or 3 per student. So you're looking at $200 to $500 per school, depending on, per device in that realm. So again, a lot of different options that we have right now. And I'll toss this back over to Amanda, and she can kind of go over some of the different customization tools and go through some scenarios with Navitor.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. So that was a lot to take in. And I just want to tie it together a little bit for you guys quick too. The big thing to keep in mind is we're really here to help you guys with ideas. With print, there's so many different things that you can do, whether it's the paper collateral all the way down to signage. And we're really here to help take that guesswork out and make it a little bit easier for you. And with that being said, one of the things that we put a lot of effort into are our marketing tools that we put out there for you to use. And one of the tools that we've been receiving really good reviews on are our flip books that some of you may or may not have seen so far, that are really tied to this back to business subject that we're talking about in these series. And a couple of things that you can do with that is we put them together really so that way you can use them as your own. So they don't have any Navitor branding on them. You go out to our website on the help and resources section, you can get to the comeback solutions, and you can download these booklets. And the one we have showing here right now is specific to what we just covered. Basically, it's this presentation condensed in a way to paint a better visualization for your customers, because right now we're all in the same boat, right? We don't really have those face-to-face connections that we're used to having, and we're having to try to deliver this message in a virtual reality, a virtual setting. And that's what this gives you the ability to do. It gives you those images to show your customer. And we really want to show you a couple, like 3 different ways really that you can make this your own, taking a good, better, best approach. This first one here is just showing you that the bottom of the last page, there's a gray text box that you can go in and add your contact information. So that way, when you send it out in emails, your recipients know who to reach back to once they save that PDF or however you may send it. And that's really easy. You just download it. All you need is Adobe Acrobat Reader. Pretty much every computer has it on it. Super easy to do. Just open it up. Once you download it, type your information, save it, and then you're good to go. The next option that we can look at, though, is really kind of that in-between better option. And this is where you'd still go to the Comeback Solutions and download it. You'd still go ahead and add in your contact information, but we encourage you even to take it a step further and put your logo on there and make it your own. There's a little bit more of a step to it, but it's still easy to do. I myself am very self-taught when it comes to adding on to presentations and things that I use on my day-to-day basis. And to be honest, I use Google and YouTube a lot. And I can do a lot just with Microsoft PowerPoint or Word or even Google Slides. We've been using that more too. So that's another tool that you could use to pull that PDF into once you've downloaded it and add anything to it from there. But the next step that we want to throw out there just to kind of get those creative juices flowing is that best option. We've actually had some customers do this already. And what they've done is they've downloaded the booklet, and then again, it could be done in Google Slides or PowerPoint, or maybe you have a graphic designer on staff that can do it, but they've added more to it and built onto it because maybe you have other product offerings in your wheelhouse that you want to get in front of your clients in that industry too. So you might add some additional pages. You might want to change the color scheme. You might want to do on the cover, you can make your own cover and really pull in your branding and make it your own. So a couple other things we've seen people do with it too, just for food for thought, is we've seen a checklist get added to kind of give your customer a guide to say, okay, here's the areas of my building that I probably need to showcase these new processes and procedures, or maybe I need to call attention to, yes, we've sanitized this and we're thinking about you, and keeping those customers top of mind. So don't be afraid to go out there and try it and use it and send it out. They're really good tools, especially right now, again, missing that face-to-face aspect. It helps take those conversations to the next level. And then really to kind of tie things up a little bit further, a few more call outs are going to be specific to the comeback solutions that we have to offer. And one of the things that we're doing, like I thrown out earlier, is we are doing these weekly webinars for you guys, focusing on a different vertical market each time. Really, the products you're going to start to see are going to be pretty similar across the board, but how they can pertain to each of these industries might be a little bit different. So we encourage you to continue to attend these webinars. If you can't make it, if you go out to our website, navitor.com, and the help and resources, that's where you'll find these recorded presentations. Again, it's where you'll find the flip books. These are just covers here on the screen showing the different books that we offer. We have 10 different verticals that we covered, one of them even being polling that we haven't hit on yet. Just that's coming around the corner to keep you guys, again, proactive and thinking. We also have a flip book out there talking about the product comparison, which is the one on the bottom right, durable versus disposable. And Mark hit on that earlier, talking about that synthetic material that we have, that if they want something that they're going to reuse and be able to wipe down, we see it used a lot for posters and menus and different things like that, or maybe instruction cards for kids to keep in their locker, in their binders, so they know, hey, if you got a fever, don't come to school, and here's your login for your e-learning, right? Different things you can do there. And then lastly, when you're on our website, while you're there, go ahead and sign up for our weekly emails. That way you get update information as far as when we're going to do more web series and things like that. It just helps you keep connected to us a little bit more. And if you get there and you're not sure where to go, just give customer service a call. They're really good at walking you through too. And then they can kind of get you where you need to go and make it a little bit simpler. So we're coming up to the tail end of our session here, and we really wanted to thank you guys for joining us today, because as you can see, we're really excited when it comes to talking about new ideas and new applications and things like that, and really reminding you guys that's what we pride ourselves in. That's what Navitor is here for. We have a great product offering that we can support you with, but we're really here to help you think about those new ideas and think about ways to grow your business and really get you outside of that typical thought process, especially as things change now. So a couple of things here real quick. We do have Mark's contact information up on the screen, and we can get that to you if you need it as well. If you have any questions that come to mind after the presentation wraps, feel free to reach out to him. And if he doesn't have the answer, he'll get you to somebody who does. We work really well together that way. And then finally, one of the things that we ask of you guys is feedback is very important for us. So we're going to have a link in the chat, and then we're also going to email you a survey link. It only takes just a couple of minutes, but give us your feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like about the presentation. That way we can make sure that we're sharpening our skills too, and really bringing something of value to you and timely. So with that, Stephanie, I know we had a couple of questions that popped up in chat. Do you want to share what we had?
Yeah, sure. And if there's any more questions, folks, just add them in there and we'll go through them together. The first one was, are tech decals customizable? And maybe talk broadly about all of our products being customizable. Amanda, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. And that's the key, right? For our products, we really want you guys to think outside of typical, right? Maybe there's even a business card. You think a business card is just a business card, but that business card doesn't have to be someone's contact information. It could be little calls to action. Everything that we have can be customized. What you really want to think about is what kind of material you might want to work with, and maybe what size you want to work with. And then really we can provide templates so that way you can design artwork to fit within. But yes, everything that we're showing you guys is completely customizable. Yes.
Okay. The next one was, what is the difference between floor decals and stencils?
Good question. I'll take that one because I'm excited about this one, Mark. I don't want to rain on your parade there. The floor stencils are new for us. This is different, right? We've all been out there and noticed the stickers, the decals on the floors to show you direction and things like that. But one of the new things that we've introduced are the floor stencils. So that's typically more of an outdoor use. Think about concrete, things like that. We've even seen them temporarily used on grass. And it's just a piece of, what are we using for that, Mark? Is that essentially poly that we're using, or?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just yep. It's a poly.
So you can cut, again, customizable. So just about anything within reason can be cut into that. And you just place it down on the ground and you just use some spray paint, spray that image on there. We were talking about this the other day, and I kind of got on my little soapbox that, yep, it could be used for directional information and things like that. But even talking about the school and looking about ways to pump up that morale a little bit and that school spirit, it would be fun if maybe even the mascot was cut out into that template, right? And they put it out on the sidewalk out front and they spray painted it. And it's a great fundraiser thing for the Booster Club. We can say, hey, parents can show their school spirit because they can buy one of these inexpensively and then spray paint that mascot or school name on their front step too, you know, just something fun. So difference there really is the
bird feet. If your mascot's a bird, or bear feet, it can be very silly.
You got it. So the big thing there is really think about application. So the floor decals are just that. They're going to be adhesive, removable, fairly durable. And the stencil would be something that you're literally putting on the ground and then spray painting over for a stencil.
Great. Okay. And then the third one was, we had one person who was having a trouble with personalizing the marketing and kind of putting her name in and kind of being edit mode versus not edit mode. And we were just kind of sharing a little information there that about edit mode within, if you have Adobe Acrobat Pro, can kind of get you into territories that might be a little more complicated, but Reader just keeps it simple. So we were talking about that too. And did you have any other advice on personalizing the materials generally?
You know, for me, anytime that I've walked anyone through that, if they're just trying to do basic, we walk through just downloading it on your computer. And then once you save it typically most computers don't have Pro downloaded, like Stephanie was saying. So when you open it up in that reader, you should just be able to click into that gray box and overwrite the little bit of areas. And then it doesn't alter anything else on the screen, then it would just be in that area. But that's something too, that if you want to give us a call or send an email too, we can even do a screen share and show it just to make it a little bit simpler too.
Cool. And our last question then was, where is pricing? Where can they find the pricing?
Good question. Good question. Okay, so pricing specific to what we're showing you, you can go a couple of different routes. You can simply send us an email and say, hey, I really liked that sign that you guys showed. I want to see, maybe we're going to do maybe 4 or 5 of those, or what's your minimum quantity? What does that look like? We can send you pricing back that way. But the other thing is, when you go on to navitor.com, if you don't have a log on, go ahead and give us a call and get one set up. There's a link on the website where you can register, or you can give us a call and we can take care of it that way. Either way works. But we do have an instant price calculator that's super easy to use. You just pick the product category that you want, and then from there it's intuitive. So it's going to say, if you pick this, now this, and it'll walk you through that. And then out of default, it will be set to show you your pricing. But then if you go into your settings, you can swap it over so you can see what that suggested retail pricing would be as well. But super easy to use, quick and easy to walk through. You should be able to price just about everything on there. A couple of things that you might not see on there are probably going to be like the ground stencils. So you want to email us for a quote or call for a quote on that. Or Sadie, I don't believe that those tech tattoos are offered on that calculator yet, right? So that's another thing that you can just reach to us for pricing on. Mark's showing us the calculator here on his screen. Again, you start with the product that you want, and then when you click into it, then it's going to be intuitive from there, and it's going to walk you through picking categories, picking sizes, picking printing process and quantities. And then also the nice thing with that calculator is you can calculate shipping on it too at the bottom of that. And that way you can see what that shipping additional charge might be as well. So again, super easy to use.
Great. And that's all our questions, Amanda.
Oh, good. Well, if anybody has anything else to add, we're here. Reach out to us. You got Mark's contact information. Like I said, please respond on that survey, because again, that's going to help us make sure that we're giving you what you're looking for when you come. And from there, again, just thank you so much for your time, and let us know how we can help.